This time in Street MBA, I have somebody very interesting for you. I have a person who comes from a small village, and for the first time he enters a city like Pune in the year 2008. For the first time he had a pizza when he came to Pune. He would walk 4 or 5 kilometers to get a meal to save money. He started in IT as an IT professional, and today he's one of the biggest fitness experts that the city has seen, and the way he's expanding and the way he's helping people become fitter and healthier is amazing. How do you put all this together? When I asked him, what is that you did? What is your education? Where did you study? How did you get this? And he said, in his very humble way, I was an average looking person from an average family with an average education, but I had the desire to be useful to people. Let's hear from him as to how and what did he do to be here. So I understand that you were working as an IT professional, no? Yeah. And you came from village to this town for the first time, JC, and then suddenly now you're this big entrepreneur with all this fitness and making so many people healthier and fitter. How did this happen? Were you always a fitness guy, or you just suddenly thought that you should do something like that?
So when I was a kid, I was fat, and I was often teased by my relatives, family members, and even school friends, you know. So people would just casually say, hey fatty, why don't you do something? So when I was in class 8, I remember one of my friend, he casually told me that, why don't you do something about it? Just join a gym or something. You know, all you do is just eat, eat, eat. So I joined a gym and started working out. Obviously I didn't get fit immediately, but I got into the habit of working out. You know, so that's when I actually started working out. I was around 14, 15 at that point of time. Just got into a habit and saw those people working out and looking so good and big and muscular, and you know, it seemed like there was something good that I could look forward to, and so that's what I did. And so didn't even realize when fitness actually became part of my life. I was just doing it for myself. I wasn't doing it for making it like a profession or anything. I was just doing it for myself, and it kind of became like a habit, you know, just like how you wake up, brush your teeth, take shower. It just became a part of my life. So
let's look at this. JC, for himself, because he was not fit and people making fun of him, he decided to get fit, and he starts working out. That's in class 8, and he starts trying to be fit. He tries to see people who are doing good and tries to see how can he get better. Now this is one part of it. Now this is getting ingrained in him, and then he moves on to the job. So when you're a job, you're an IT professional, how did you, and why did you start this fitness business of yours?
So I come from a place where everybody is supposed to become an engineer, right? And we have so many engineers in the country. So I also took admission in an engineering college. To be very honest, I didn't really know what I had to do with my life, and so I took engineering. And then after you're done with your engineering, the obvious choice for you is to find a job in an MNC. Luckily, I got a job in 2 MNCs. So I joined one of them in Pune, you know, and 2008 was when I started working in IT, and then from then onwards till 2014, I continued working in IT for almost good, 7-8 years, and I worked through different profiles as ERP consultant on different kinds of projects from all over the world. Making fitness as a profession was never on my mind. To be very honest, I didn't even see fitness as a profession, you know, and it all started as just a way of trying to help people. So I was trying to make some of the friends, colleagues, and family members fit. So I created a small WhatsApp group and said, now you guys have to get fit. This is what I'm telling you, and you have to do this, this, this. So everything was happening on WhatsApp. And then when those guys got fit, in a period of 3 to 6 months, they told others. And soon I was being chased by people from all over the world. And a lot of people came to me and they said, JC, we are willing to pay you, just help us get fit somehow, you know, we are tired of this. That's when I realized that, fitness is such a big problem. It's a huge problem. And in our country, if you look at the stats, it's really bad. We are number 1 when it comes to diabetes, number 3 when it comes to cardiovascular diseases. So all these things, forced me into helping more and more people. So I started writing a book called Get Shredded, where I thought if I just publish this book for free, people would just read the book and get transformed themselves. So I did this in 2014-15. I released the book for free. But instead of solving the problem, it created more problem, because now people were reading the book and they kept coming back. Book is good, it's amazing, but we can't help ourselves. We can't read the book and do things ourselves. We need somebody to guide us. That's when the idea of coaching came into my mind, and then I figured, if I could just train people to train people. So rather than me reaching out to thousands of people, if I just train 10 people who can then reach out to hundreds of thousands of people, we are not only creating jobs, we are also solving the problem of inconvenience to the end customer who does not want to read, right? So that's how the idea of SQUATS and FITTR came into existence.
Unbelievable. Now let's try and see the chain. A boy who was mocked at school decides to get fit. Then he does what every average Indian boy would be thinking about: getting into engineering college, getting an IT job. Like that would be like, wow, you arrived kind of scenario from his perspective. But a desire of helping others for something which he was mocked at was so intense, he started his family, his friends, to give them his tips on how to get fitter. They get fit, they talk about it. Still see his compassion and see his helping nature. He writes a book for free. And let me take you back. What I mentioned is, to save money, he'd walk 3-4 kilometers just to have food. So for him to do it for free and to help people, when he's not like a billionaire with a lot of money or he's doing a CSR activity, really requires a high degree of compassion. Now when he does good, the society pays back. Doing good is very critical, and this is what JC has just demonstrated. He kept on doing good, and people kept on saying, no, we want to know more and more. And then he thought this is not the end of it. He wanted to create more jobs. He trained more people to train more people, and that's why he started his business. What an amazing learning. If you believe in something, you want to do good to society, and you start building it up, it can become into such a big franchise. Have you ever thought about this? Are we so obsessed about making money day zero that we forget about doing good? Are we so obsessed about just finding a good job that we forget our true calling? Are we so obsessed about making ends meet that we forget to contribute to society? I think JC challenges this all and reaches where he is. Any message you want to give to youngsters, JC? There are a lot of boys and girls out there who are struggling with this. They are not very clear about what they want in life. A lot of people tell them you are failures. Either they call them you are fat, or they say that you're not hopeless, or you don't have a good degree. And you want to speak, which you feel they should be thinking about or working on.
Right. So I think nobody in this life is a failure. Nobody who exists is a failure. I think all of our lives are important, and it's what we decide to do with our lives is what matters. At the end of the day, see, I was an average guy coming from an average family. I had no aspirations to do something. There were people who genuinely had that kind of education, had that kind of money, and everybody was looking at them. When people were looking at me, even my family and relatives, they didn't have any high expectations of me. And yet I'm doing something which they are proud of now, and I'm helping so many people. I couldn't have expected myself to do any better in life. This is amazing. So I think if a guy like me can do something like this, anybody can, and so at the end of the day, the intent is what should matter. The problems are all around us. We should be just willing to solve the problems rather than focusing on anything else. If we just focus on solving a problem, I think you'll get everything that you want, because there's so many problems, but so few people who are really solving the problems.
That reminds me, JC, I think a lot of youngsters ask me this question: what is that one skill set I should have which will ensure that I always have a job? As in today's era of AI, ML, in today's era of machine doing a lot of repetitive work, if you have the ability to solve problems and you're passionate about it, you'll always do good. If you listen to what JC said, he was trying to solve a problem on fitness. He was trying to make his friends and family better. He was trying to solve a problem, and this is where he reaches. So one big takeaway from here is, don't worry about what background you have. Don't worry about what education you have. If there's only one thing that you think about is, what problems are you solving? And you're doing it good, you will make it good in life. That is the message for you from Street MBA this week. Looking forward to see you again. In the meanwhile, let us get more fitter. Really great seeing you, Jose. Really good fun. Thank you.
That was fun.
It was fun.